I never thought my own family would betray me like this. I never imagined they would leave me and my 6-year-old son stranded on a desolate island, with no food, no water, and no hope of rescue. But they did. And what happened next? Well, I'm lucky to be alive to tell this story. This is not just a tale of survival, it's a story of betrayal, endurance, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his child. Before I continue, if you enjoy real-life survival stories and heart-stopping tales of resilience, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And if you've ever felt abandoned or betrayed, let me know your story in the comments below. Now let me take you back to the day everything changed, the trip that changed everything. It was supposed to be a dream vacation. My family had planned a trip to an exotic island, a hidden gem only a few knew about. My parents, my 2 older brothers, my younger sister, and of course my son, Ethan. At first, everything seemed perfect. The boat ride was smooth, the weather was ideal, and we were excited to explore. But there were signs, subtle ones, then that something was wrong. My brothers had been distant for weeks before the trip. My parents avoided eye contact whenever I spoke about the vacation. I brushed it off as stress. Little did I know, they had planned something sinister. When we reached the island, it was breathtaking. White sandy beaches, crystal clear waters, and lush green forests stretching into the distance. It felt like paradise, but paradise turned into a nightmare faster than I could comprehend. The abandonment. The first day was filled with laughter, swimming, and exploring. But that night, after Ethan and I fell asleep in our small tent, something happened. I woke up to complete silence. No murmuring voices, no footsteps, nothing. The campfire had burned out, and there was no one around. At first, I thought maybe they had gone for a walk or were playing a prank. But then I saw it, their footprints leading back to the shore. My heart pounded in my chest. I ran to the beach only to find the boat gone. They had left us. My own family had abandoned me and my son on an uncharted island with no way off. Panic set in. I screamed their names, hoping they would hear me and turn back. But there was no answer, only the sound of waves crashing against the shore. My son woke up, rubbing his eyes. "Where is everyone, Dad?" he asked, his small voice filled with confusion. I didn't have an answer. Survival begins. The first few hours were the hardest. My mind raced with 1,000 questions. Why did they do this? How could they? And most importantly, how were we going to survive? With no food, no shelter, and no fresh water, survival instincts kicked in. I knew that the most important thing was to find water. Dehydration would kill us faster than anything else. I picked up my son and started walking inland, searching for any sign of drinkable water. Hours later, we found a small stream. Relief washed over me as I cupped the cool liquid in my hands and brought it to my lips. Ethan drank too, his face lighting up with joy. But we couldn't celebrate for long. We needed food and shelter. The island was not as friendly as it seemed. Strange noises echoed from the dense jungle, the rustling of leaves, the distant calls of animals I couldn't recognize. Were they predators? Were we being watched? Using sticks and large leaves, I built a makeshift shelter near the stream. It wasn't much, but it would protect us from the elements. That night, as Ethan slept curled up beside me, I stayed awake, listening. Every sound felt like a threat. The struggle for food. The next morning, our hunger became unbearable. We needed to eat, but I had no weapons, no tools. Just my bare hands and the will to survive. I searched for anything edible, fruits, berries, anything. But the fear of poisoning ourselves made me hesitate. Then I remembered something. Coconuts. We had passed a few palm trees on our way to the stream. Climbing the tree was harder than I expected. My hands burned as I gripped the rough bark, but I managed to knock a few coconuts down. Breaking them open was another challenge. Eventually, I found a sharp rock and cracked them open, letting Ethan drink the sweet water inside before scooping out the flesh. It wasn't much, but it was something. Days passed, and we learned to adapt. I fashioned a spear from a sturdy branch in sharp rock, attempting to fish in the shallow waters. It took countless tries, but eventually I caught a small fish. It was the best meal I'd ever had, but we weren't alone. The dangers of the island. One night, as I was gathering firewood, I heard it, a low growl coming from the darkness. My blood turned to ice. I slowly turned to see a pair of glowing eyes staring at me, a wild animal, a predator. I grabbed a burning stick from the fire and waved it in front of me, trying to appear bigger. The creature hesitated, then slinked back into the shadows. But I knew it wouldn't be the last time it came back. The island was full of dangers, poisonous plants, treacherous cliffs, and deadly creatures. But the biggest danger was the uncertainty. How long would we be here? Would we ever be rescued? Would I ever face my family again and demand answers? The turning point. Weeks passed. We grew thinner, but stronger. Ethan became my little warrior, helping me gather food, build better shelters, and keep the fire going. We had no calendar, no way of knowing how long we'd been there. Then one day, everything changed. A storm rolled in. The sky darkened, the winds howled, and the rain came down in sheets. Our shelter collapsed under the force of the wind, and I clung to Ethan, shielding him from the flying debris. Lightning struck a nearby tree, sending it crashing down mere feet from us. The storm lasted the entire night, leaving us exhausted and broken. But that storm brought something unexpected. Hope. The rescue and the truth. The next morning, as I stood on the shore, watching the waves, I saw it. A boat. A real boat. I waved my arms, shouting at the top of my lungs. My heart pounded as the boat grew closer. When they pulled us aboard, I collapsed from exhaustion. I later learned that a passing cargo ship had seen the remnants of our fire and sent a search party. We were saved. But the truth about why my family abandoned us would haunt me forever. They had taken my inheritance, my savings, and left us for dead, believing no one would ever find us. They wanted me gone. But I survived. And now, I'm here to tell my story. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know. What would you do if you were in my shoes? And always remember, family isn't about blood, it's about who truly stands by your side.